Am I happy with it? Yeah. But I think I definitely could have accomplished more. The biggest mentor I had was a guy named Carlito Montana. But I was taught to be stiff, and then I ended up becoming light because of it. I just wanted to be a pro wrestler. Candido was the first name guy I ever wrestled. Sabu's a great guy.
Yeah.
I owe a lot to Sabu. When someone says I'm a hardcore, I did extreme, absolutely. Going to CZW is a huge opportunity. The high five, but it's not a five, it's a Roman numeral V. It is a miracle none of us got hurt. It was just a great match. It was a great show. It's one of the proudest matches I've ever had. I did it with my friend. I didn't really get my confidence until I went to CZW. I've never told anybody.
Call it how I see it, straight talk, no disguise. So the slang dripping, got the truth in my eyes. Might like gavel, every word, lay it down. Coach C in the booth, turn the game all around. Yeah, it's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business. Yeah, I'm sharp as attack when I call the play-by-play. Every dog got his day, and I make the crowd stay. It's every week we go live on a Wednesday. Dressing so sharp, that's the reason why your friends stay. The youngest in the game to do it, best for business. Coach C is the truth and everybody gonna witness. Love entertainment, you swear it's your destiny. Link with Coach C, we can talk about your legacy. It's Coach C, he the best for business. It's Coach C, he the best for business.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Best for Business. My name's Chris Sanders. This one I'm pumped for, the Messiah. Thank you so much for joining me for this one.
Of course, man. Yeah, just call me Billy, bro.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. I'm pumped for this one. Getting to interview guys like Chris Kloss. I was telling you before air, Dewey Donovan's coming soon, but everyone talks so highly of you, so I can't thank you enough, man,
Oh,
for doing
really?
this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. No, that means a lot if people are talking highly of me, because I definitely want people to think good of me. So I appreciate the kind words, man.
Yeah, I'm pumped for this one. So for me, I'm in New England, so I know you're in a completely different scene. So originally for you, what was it about wrestling that made you want to get involved in it?
Um, Dude, just growing up as a fan. Like a lot of guys, uh my first the first guy that I looked up to was Hulk Hogan.
Hmm.
Um, and again, I have this memory as a kid being in Michigan with my mother because my parents were divorced, and my mom lived in Michigan, and I was at like my aunt's like a party or something, and I have this memory of Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant being on TV because all the adults they're playing poker, doing
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like just let the kid
Wow.
watch TV. And I was the oldest grandchild, so it was just me and my sister. It was just us two. And I remember watching Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. And I've told this before, but I think there's no way it could have been WrestleMania 3, because why
Mhm.
would they be spending money on a pay-per-view? There's just no way. So it had to have been a Saturday night's main event.
Okay.
And it might have been like the two evil referees, the two Earl Hebners.
Yeah.
And that just for whatever reason, it just caught my attention. And from that point on, I was hooked into pro wrestling.
Hmm.
Um, and then my dad, who lived in California, when I'd come back to California, he, I'm sure he was like, "Why is my son into pro wrestling? Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?" Um, but he got tickets to the LA Sports Arena to watch wrestling, and we only did it two times. But the first time we went, it was right after WrestleMania 5, where the Mega Powers collided,
Yeah.
and it was like a rematch, Hulk Hogan versus Randy Savage. But on that show, they had Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect. And this is before Bret Hart became, Bret Hart. He was
Yeah.
still part of the Hart Foundation. And they went to, I think, yeah, Mr. Perfect or Kurt Hennig was the IC champ.
Hmm.
They went to a 15-minute draw. And I remember my dad even saying, like, "Are you okay?" Because what I just watched it was a masterpiece, what they did.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, that's when I was like, I want to be a pro wrestler.
Wow.
Watching that, and then Bret Hart became my favorite wrestler after
Wow.
watching that.
So you talk about loving pro wrestling. You go to watch it. Bret Hart becomes your guy. When is the age that you decide wrestling is something you want to start pursuing?
Oh, was it right there? It
Yeah.
was I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
Um, uh, and again, I've told this story before, but growing up in California, and I was a Valley kid,
Hmm.
and there was a cable radio network, like on Channel 3.
Mm-hmm.
And every now and then they had radio shows on there. Most of the time it was like, it would tell like the local city councils when a city council meeting was coming up
Yeah.
or something. But there was a show on there called Wrestle Talk, and it was hosted by Dynamite D, who wrestled in XPW.
Yeah.
And when I was in elementary school, I called up Wrestle Talk. And well, to backtrack a little bit, D was always pushing, or was always promoting this place called Slammers.
Mm-hmm.
Slammers Wrestling Gym, SWF.
Iconic.
Yeah. And I asked my dad if I could call one time into the show, and he let me. And what's funny is D and I, because Dynamite D and I became really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember asking D, like, hey, I called into your show one time. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I asked you 2 questions. First question was, is the Hart Foundation ever going to get back together? And the second question was, how do I become a professional wrestler?
Nice.
And he gave me the mark answer, which was, you either have to be born into the business, or know somebody in the business. And that's all he said. That's all he told me.
Yeah.
And D just was a great guy. D's like, yeah, I kind of remember your question. I was like, no way you remember my question. There's just no way.
Yeah.
And when I was in junior high school, I wanted to be a pro wrestler when I was in junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad made a bet with me and basically said, hey, dude, if you get really good grades on this next report card, we can go to Slammers. Because that's the only thing I knew.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about dirt sheets. There was no internet. There was none of that. And I got really good grades, and he took me to Slammers Wrestling Gym,
Mm-hmm.
which just happened to be in a couple towns over. And we just showed up uninvited. Like, we just showed up unannounced. And we went there. It was like in Sun Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. And knocked on the door, and the owner, Vern Langdon, answered.
Wow.
He just opened the door, and my dad's like, hey, my son wants to be a pro wrestler, loves pro wrestling. We heard about you, blah, blah, blah. And Vern invited us in. And at the time, there was a guy named Movie Star Mike,
Mm-hmm.
who actually was in the movie Ed Wood.
Okay.
With Johnny Depp.
Uh-huh.
And a guy named Jeff Lindbergh, the young lion, Jeff Lindbergh.
Okay.
These 2 guys were just there training, and Vern had them put on a wrestling match just for me.
Wow.
And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Like, and when you walked into Slammers, Vern had all these photos, these 8x10 photos everywhere on every part of the wall had an 8x10 photo of a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
There's Kevin Sullivan, there's all these, like Andrew the Giant, Hulk Hogan, Mr. Wonderful, all these guys. And me just being a junior high school student, I'm thinking like Vern knows all these guys. Like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. But you had to be 18 in order to join Slammers. And a couple of years later, in 1996, I graduated high school. I was 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I still always wanted to do pro wrestling. And ironically, the only thing that I ever saw about a pro wrestling school was Ultimate Warrior.
Mm-hmm.
They had these advertisements when he came back that second run about his Warrior University and all this stuff. And my dad was he would travel a lot for work. Just so happened he had to go to Arizona, where Warrior University was based. He's like, I'll go check it out, Bill. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is. But before then, I think it was, you had to send in like Warrior was like, you had to send in like $20 for this pack or something of information about the school.
Okay. Yeah.
And I did. I sent it in. I got something back. And basically I got invited to what he called a no BS seminar.
Uh-huh.
And this is what he sent out to everybody that was dumb enough to send him $20.
Yeah.
And basically it's like no BS seminar, come out to Arizona. And I forgot what the cost was, like $300 to go to the seminar, but that didn't include your flight. That didn't include hotel, none of that stuff. And my dad, just being the supportive dad, was like, if you want to go, I'll give you the money. I'm going to have to pay my dad back.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, if you want to go, something in my brain even then was like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, I just know this is BS. And I never went to it.
Yeah.
My dad goes out there for his business meeting or whatever it was. He goes and he's calling me. He called on the phone. This is before cell phones. He just calls up and he's like, oh, actually, my dad had a cell phone back then.
Yeah.
But he calls the house and he's like, tells my stepmother, get Billy on the phone. He's like, hey, I'm here. There's a lot of weight equipment here, but there's nobody here. There's like nobody at the door. There's nobody even like running this place. There's nobody here. I was like, okay. And
Yeah.
then on that phone call, he goes, what about Slammers? And I was like, oh, yeah, Slammers Wrestling Gym. And I looked it up. They were still running.
Hmm.
I called Vern, or I left a message. Vern called me back. He invited me to come see one of the Slammer shows because at the time they used to run events every Thursday night in Bakersfield, California,
Nice. Yeah.
which was about an hour and a half away from me. My dad and I drove down there, and they would put on shows at this place called Strongbow Stadium, which used to host wrestling like Andre the Giant, Roddy Piper. They all
Nice.
used to wrestle at this place.
Yeah.
But it's a little. I mean, it was a great place. Like it literally had like this theater in the round. Like
Wow.
there's the
Yeah.
ring, and then just all the seats were around it. But when I went there, there's like 20 people in the crowd, like no one's there. And that night, Vern wrestled a guy named El Toro Bravo, and El Toro Bravo busted Vern open hard way.
Hmm.
And I remember my dad going, "That's fake blood. That's fake blood. Like that's not real." It was real.
Yeah.
And I met with Vern after, and he was just like, "We do school. We have schooling every like Sunday. If you want to come by, just come by." And I came by, and that's how I got started.
Wow. I'm curious when you look at your career, especially early on training, who are your biggest mentors?
Mentor. I mean, the biggest mentor I had was a guy named uh, Carlito Montana.
Okay.
Well, he wrestled in XPW as Carlito Montana.
Hmm.
In Slammers, he was Hombre de Oro, the man of gold. Because right when I started at Slammers, again, Dynamite D was the main trainer, but D and Vern had like this, they had this falling out, and D
Hmm.
left. So when the first time I ever met D, ironically, he went, Vern goes, hey D, this is Billy, our newest recruit. And D puts his hand out and he's just like, hey, how's it going, Billy? Dynamite D, world's greatest wrestler. I was like, oh, nice to meet you too. Oh, and what was funny was that show that I saw in Bakersfield, D wrestled on,
Hmm.
and D, he did this snot rocket thing where he
Yep.
went like that, and it was the biggest booger. Like, dude, it was gnarly.
Yeah.
He did it, and I remember this lady got up because she was just so disgusted, and D's like, "Where are you going? Where do you go? I did that for you. Where are you going?" And I thought that was just the greatest thing for
Yeah.
whatever reason. I just thought, like in my mind, that was the greatest
Yeah.
thing. But D left,
Hmm.
and Carlos was taking over the main training, and I learned primarily from Carlos.
Okay.
And also, again, at the time, when I started training at Slammers, I was in the beginners class. So I wasn't with the advanced guys or whatever you want to call it. And so there was a good, like maybe month or two that I wasn't with Carlos.
Okay.
And but I would still go to the Slammer shows in Bakersfield every Thursday. At the time, the big rivalry, the hot angle was Hombre de Oro versus beautiful Bruce Bodine,
Okay.
which was Ed Ferreira,
Yeah.
who became a writer for WWE with
Mhm.
Vince Russo and all that stuff. I know, like Jim Cornette shits all over Ed. Ed was a really good wrestler. He knew how to get heat. He knew how to make people pissed off. The dude was good.
Yeah.
He really was good. They had like this, Carlos and Ed had like this loser leaves town match or something. And keep in mind, I'm in the beginners class.
Yeah.
And also,
How many
Slammers-
kids are training with you at the time?
in the beginners class, it was just me.
Okay.
It was just me, and it was literally just me getting the crap kicked out of me.
Okay.
Or me, and like, actually, it only lasted like a few weeks,
Okay.
if I remember right. And because like my first class was with Vern,
Yeah.
and Vern basically at the end of the class, he's like, "All right, I'm going to chop you. You chop me." I was like, okay, yeah, cool, whatever. If you look at Vern, and Vern was a mountain of a man. He was this
Hmm.
big fat guy, bald head. I didn't notice it, and Vern passed away a few years ago. But Vern, like the dude, like it, he was into like makeup effects and stuff like that. Like they mentioned him in a Planet of the Apes documentary that I
Wow.
watched a couple years ago. Like Vern, and he wrote like country western songs and shit like that. I don't know,
Yeah.
but Vern, it was like, okay, I'm gonna chop you, you chop me, and Vern chops me, and he had like a hand that looked like, like it had been like sausage fingers.
Yeah.
And at the time, dude, I weighed 150 pounds probably, or
Wow.
160 pounds. And dude, he knocked the wind out of me. But I
Wow.
didn't say anything. And I chopped him back. He chopped me back. And we just kept on going, kept on going, kept on going to the point where Vern said, okay, we're done. And Vern did that. I later found out Vern did that to see if I actually was serious about this.
Hmm.
Because there are guys who want to be pro wrestlers because they see Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. And they're like, oh, wow, this really hurts. And Slammers had a reputation um, for being rough, for if guys who basically either you got ran out of Slammers or you quit because the ring was stiff as hell.
Yeah.
And uh, I remember Vern, the first class I had with Vern, we're walking out, and he goes, and then because he taught me how to do back bumps, which according to Vern, I caught really quick. Some
Yeah.
guys have a hard time learning back bumps because you're teaching your brain to do something completely unnatural.
Hmm.
Everybody, when you fall backwards, you want to look to see where you're going to land. Back bumps, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I caught on to it fairly quickly. And I remember Vern going, "Yeah, I think you'll be good. You probably need a hip replacement or two." And I was like, "What the hell is he talking about?" I'm 18 years old, going, "What are you talking about?" Now I understand what he means
Yeah.
because my hips friggin' kill me now.
Wow.
um, but he just ended up uh, sorry, I know I'm going on these
No, no worries.
tangents,
Yeah.
but uh D left,
Yeah.
and again they kept me in the dark on everything. Like they never smartened me up on anything because even with Vern, especially with Carlos, when they kicked or punched, they were really kicking the crap out of me,
Hmm.
punching me, man. And it wasn't until my first match, my first pro match, that Carlos was like, "Here, this is how this works." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I respect it now, especially given how like guys are now. Um, but I was taught to be stiff, and then I ended up becoming light because of it.
Yeah.
And guys used to complain about me punching them, and then I'm too stiff. No one's going to work with me. And it wasn't until I got to XPW, not to like fast forward, but it
Yeah.
wasn't until I got to XPW, and then all of a sudden, and Carlos told me this. He goes, "You'll the things I'm telling you right now won't make sense, or you'll think you're doing it, but you're really not doing it. And then something will happen, and you'll have this aha moment, and then you'll get it."
Okay.
And in XPW, I had that with my punches because all of a sudden I was punching believable punches, but I wasn't killing anybody with it.
Hmm.
And I don't think I could have done that had I not been, having the crap kicked out of me,
Yeah.
and that we're really punching each other. Had I been like, "Oh no, you need to be light, you need to be light," it would have sucked. I just it wouldn't have been good.
Hmm.
But sorry, now I know where I'm going back to. Carlos and Ed had this loser leaves town match.
Yep.
Ed loses, and the reason Ed lost is because I didn't know at the time, but Ed, I think he had like a writing job on a thing called it was for the USA Network,
Okay.
something about an animated duck. I think I
Okay.
I don't even
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
But Ed left, and then Ed ended up coming back, and Ed started teaching me as well, and
Nice.
I learned a lot from Ed.
Yeah.
Ed knew how to get heat because, dude, this dude, like Ed had long, um, uh, blonde hair, like just peroxide, like the dude, just like Ric Flair blonde hair,
Yeah.
and he walked around like that all the time.
Wow.
And it wasn't like he's in WWE. He's just
Yeah.
wrestling for Slammers, and this guy is like a writer on network shows, like looking like that.
Yeah.
Dude, he loved pro wrestling.
Nice.
And he was awesome at getting heat because he wore pink tights with pink. Dude,
Easy.
people hated his ass.
Yeah.
They in Bakersfield they believed it. They
Wow.
absolutely believed it, and they hated him. And between Ed and Carlos, that's where I learned everything. And
Nice.
then I met up with D again, and D started showing me stuff. But it was primarily Carlito
Nice.
Montana. He taught me all this stuff.
Nice. Now I'm curious, before the Messiah, was it through Slammers that originally started as Mike, was it Mike Earnhardt or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, Mike Earhart. Oh God. One day
Yep.
I was training, and it's when D was still there at Slammers, and Vern just looked at D. I forgot because I trained with White Trash Johnny Webb,
Yep.
who was in Slammers was Spider Malloy or Pete Malloy, Spider Pete Malloy.
So Slammers picks all these names for these guys originally?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
was always taught you never pick your gimmick or your character.
Okay.
It's given to you because what ends up happening is a lot of guys are like, dude, I'm Renegade McGavin or they give themselves like really
Yeah.
cool, what they think are cool names. And I saw that a couple times with guys when they had the chance to pick their name. It was like, I'm the tornado, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and finishing move, tornado, like it was just,
Yeah.
um, like actually every name I've ever been given, and the Messiah I never even choose. I know I didn't choose that.
Hmm.
But I was wrestling, training, and because a lot of what we used to do was grappling, but Carlos and I used to grapple
Hmm.
because this is right when the UFC was starting, dude. And
Okay.
UFC had a huge uh had a huge mark on us. And that's probably one of the reasons we were always hitting each other and kicking the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Because of the UFC. And I probably was even training with Carlos, and Ed or D happened to be there. And I remember Vern just looking at D going, Mike Earhart. He pointed at me and just points, Mike Earhart. I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
Come to find out, there used to be a guy that used to train at Slammers named Mark Earhart. Um, and and I guess I look like his little brother.
Okay.
So that's where I'm Mark Earhart's little brother.
Yeah.
What's funny is because Slammers used to put out these wrestling tapes, and there was like a collegiate wrestling tape, I guess.
Hmm.
And Carlos and I watched it one time, and Mark Earhart was on it.
Wow.
And I don't even know who he was wrestling, but they put him in like some kind of stretch hold, and he screamed like a girl. And I remember Carlos going, "That's your brother." I was like, "Dude, that is not my brother.
Yeah.
That is absolutely not my brother.
Wow.
No way." So, but I was Mike Earhart, and then I became Iron Mike Earhart. The All-American Boy Iron Mike Earhart, because Vern said I had a baby. I had too much of a baby face. I could never be a heel, he said. Which I was glad I was able to prove that wrong.
Yeah.
But Vern came from that 80s wrestling, because Vern was actually taught by Fabulous Moolah.
Hmm.
And Vern looked at me and just saw a white meat baby face.
Wow.
That's all I was ever going to be in his eyes. So, but yeah, Iron Mike Earhart. That's where I got. I remember my dad going, "Why can't they just call you Billy Earhart?" I was like, "I don't know.
Yeah.
It just keep one name." I was like, but I was Iron Mike Earhart for whatever reason. Yeah.
Wow. When you talk early in your career, you've done so much in pro wrestling, but I'm curious to you, what would you consider your first big opportunity in wrestling?
Big opportunity. I mean, well, given like back then, again, there was no internet, or it was just when the internet was starting, and probably the fact that I was able to find a wrestling school, I think was an
Yeah.
achievement in itself. But honestly, it was XPW.
Nice.
Absolutely. It had to be XPW. Uh, all I ever wanted to do was I just wanted to wrestle. It wasn't like I had aspirations to be the top guy in the company, or be the top guy in the region, or whatever you want to call it. My immediate goal was I just wanted to be a pro wrestler and be like Bret Hart.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. And I mean, I had a couple goals. Like once I got started, it was just like, I just wanted to hold a belt in any federation. I don't care what belt it was.
Yeah.
Um, have an action figure of myself, be in a video game. Uh, that or and have a t-shirt.
Nice.
I thought that would be cool.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Hmm.
Again, I never thought and honestly, if I could just make a living at it and pay my bills,
Hmm.
that's all I ever wanted to do with it. Uh, because again, like I grew up in the 80s, the land of the giants was WWE.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm 5'11", maybe 6 foot on a good day.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, dude, like there's just no, yeah, I just always I just wanted to wrestle. Point
Hmm.
blank, just wanted to wrestle. That's all I ever wanted to do.
Nice. When you talk your career, I think it's before XPW. Do you have anything you remember? I think it was called the Tango and Cash Invitational Tag Tournament. You teamed with Daniels, and like the first round was against like Punk and Hero. And I was looking today, that tournament was stacked.
Yeah, dude, that was after XPW.
Okay.
Yeah, that was yeah, that was for PWG, which was run by like Super Dragon Excalibur.
Yeah.
Joey Ryan was part of it. Um, I did Scott Lost was all part of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had they were doing, did they have tag champs then? No, I don't think
I don't think so.
this was to get the tag champs, but this
Okay.
was after I left XPW, or I was fired from XPW.
Yeah.
I was already in CZW at this time. And I think, yeah, it was Joey Ryan who called me. And I knew all these guys because like um Super Dragon, Excalibur, guys like Rising Sun, they wrestled in XPW.
Hmm.
And they had great matches in XPW. And then when I left XPW, or when I got fired from XPW, went to CZW, the other prominent promotion here in Southern California was a promotion called Epic.
Okay.
Epic only lasted, it didn't even last a year, dude. But that's where I really met like Super Dragon, Excalibur, those guys. Once that folded, those guys were just like, why don't we just do our own promotion? And that's when they came up with PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, they wanted me and Christopher Daniels to team. And because each team had their own like little name, like a movie name. And
Yeah.
we were called We're No Angels, which was a movie with Sean Penn and Robert De Niro in the 80s.
Okay.
So that's where that came from.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was an all right match. And that's the only time I ever wrestled Punk, and the only time I've ever wrestled Chris Hero.
Wow.
It was okay. I mean, I've wrestled Christopher Daniels individually a couple times, and he's awesome. I mean, the guy's awesome.
Yeah.
But it was dude, it was fun. Um, I've never told anybody this, but I just remember like I've always been told I'm too nice of a guy sometimes, and during that match, I remember they wanted. Sorry, my phone, my Apple Watch just answers me when I don't
Yeah.
want it to. They yeah, Chris Daniels and I were going to lose,
Hmm.
but no one from the office in PWG was like, okay, you're taking the pin. There was none of that. So I remember we're talking with me and Daniels are talking with Punk and Hero. And keep in mind, they all know each other. I'm the odd man out.
Yeah.
I'm the guy from what they would deem the garbage promotion,
Hmm.
XPW, CZW. I'm the garbage wrestler. Now, again, they've never said that to my face, but I just know how I
Yeah.
just know how they think.
Yeah.
And all I can do is, the death match or the garbage wrestling, which is not what I ever wanted to. It's not something I was like, oh, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Again, keep in mind, I wanted to be Bret Hart.
Yeah.
But I remember it's like we're going over the match. It's like, okay, who's getting the pin? I remember Chris was just silent. He didn't say anything. And I just went, I'll take the pin. I don't care. because I always heard stories about how Tommy Dreamer, Sandman were always like they always fought over who was going to get pinned in the match.
Okay.
And dude, I don't have a fragile ego. I'm not saying Chris Daniels does by any
Yeah.
means, but I was like, okay, I'll take the pin. So we did the match, get pinned. We're backstage, and I just remember I was probably undoing my boots or something, have my head down. I look up, and Hero and Punk, they were talking shit on me. I know they were.
Is this after the match?
This is
Or-
after the match.
Okay. Okay.
They were both talking shit on me about something. Maybe they thought I was going to be better than what I was, or or hell, maybe they were surprised that I was better
Yeah.
than what they thought. Again, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'll just never forget like catching them clearly talking about me and the looks on both of their faces when I looked up and they realized I see them doing it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, well, what? Like, okay. Now, in saying that, I always had a good relationship with Chris Hero because I would see him in CZW.
Nice. Yeah.
And I think no, actually, I don't think I ever saw Punk after that. And yeah, Chris Daniels is just awesome. But I just remember like, I caught you two friggin' talking shit, or at least what I thought was talking shit. Maybe
Yeah.
they weren't. I don't know. But the look on their faces was just like, oh crap, he caught us.
Wow.
But PWG was an awesome promotion here in California that in a lot of ways saved Southern California indie wrestling. And it was the place to be. It didn't matter where in the world, it was the place to be.
Yeah.
I was incredibly proud of guys like Super Dragon and Excalibur for being able to do that. And even Joey Ryan. I know
Nice.
people don't like Joey Ryan now,
Yeah.
but Joey Ryan was part of that as well.
Yeah.
And they would call me back to do shows, and I kind of shot myself in the foot with that. Because there was a show I think I was supposed to wrestle Hardcore Kid on. I don't remember the name of the show. Hardcore Kid is he wrestled in WWE for like a brief second as a guy named Jesus.
Okay.
With how am I forgetting his name? Carlito.
Okay.
The Apple guy or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, he was the guy that helped stab John Cena, I guess.
Okay.
Sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Hardcore Kid was the guy was a really, really good wrestler, but he and I were going to do a match and I wasn't able to make it to the show. If I remember, I think I had car problems, but the honest reason I didn't make it to the show was because I was injured and I couldn't even walk. And I was too embarrassed to tell them I couldn't walk.
Wow.
So I came up with like some like, oh, dude, my back or my car broke down on the way to the show. Like, dude, any advice to just be honest.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about your fragile ego? Just
Yeah.
tell them what really happened. Because I had injured myself doing something. But and then after that, they were like, yeah, we don't want Billy anymore, which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my run in PWG.
When you look at your career, when you wrestled Candido, is there anything that stood out?
Yeah, Candido was the first name guy I ever wrestled.
Nice.
And I believe I remember because I went over on Candido. And keep in mind, dude, I weighed 160 pounds soaking wet back then. The reason I wore all black in XPW and I wore the pants and the shirt was to hide the fact I was a skinny kid.
Wow.
That's the only reason I wore that.
Yeah.
It wasn't to look like Tommy Dreamer. It was to hide the fact I was a skinny kid. And I remember Chris Candido and I and Tammy was there as well. And we were going over the match. And at least my experiences with Chris, not to say that he was on something, but he talked really quick. He was very quick and he would stutter when he was talking. And we went over the match. It's like, okay. He's like, let's go talk to Rob about it. We go to Rob, start talking to Rob. Chris tells him the match because Rob was going to get involved in the match. So was Lizzie. And Chris leaves and Rob looks at me and he goes, did you understand an effing word he just said? I was like, yeah, of course I did. And I explained it to Rob because when Chris was talking, he was stuttering and he was talking super quick. And I just remember him being very gracious because he, if I remember correctly, he was going back or I don't know if he was going back. but he was going to WCW. That's why he could no longer be with XPW
Yeah.
for that first run that he had
Okay.
with XPW. And uh he was just super cool. He
Nice.
was just super cool. And that match is when I had one of those aha moments. He had me in a corner and he was punching me and he was barely hitting my forehead, but I was rocking my head back like he was just taking it off.
Yeah.
And I remember going, "Oh, this is what Carlos meant." I distinctly remember in that match, "Oh, this is what Carlos meant."
Hmm.
And I was doing the same thing to him, and I was barely touching him, and he was looking like I was just rocking his head back. Um, and I went over on him, which he didn't have to do.
Yeah.
He could have gone to Rob and said, "I don't want this skinny kid beating me," or I'm going to WCW, but he did it. And
Nice.
I was always very grateful to him for doing that. That was
Yeah.
a really cool thing he did. Um, but he was a great human being, just a great guy, man.
Nice. When you talk about wrestling names, how about Sabu?
Sabu, Sabu's a great guy. I
Yeah.
owe a lot to Sabu. Um, he the first time I wrestled Sabu, he just beat the crap out of me, man. He just beat the crap out of me. Because keep in mind, granted, I wrestled in Slammers, and Slammers was a great place to learn the basics.
Okay.
And Vern would get mad if you left. Because in his mind, he's like, why would you want to even go to WWE or WCW? We have our own little thing here. It's not like I'm not like I never made any money off of Slammers. I
Yeah.
paid to wrestle there. And I just remember um, uh, I just being there, it was great, but Slammers never taught you how to get work. They taught you how to work.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so when Sabu came in, Sabu was just this rugged dude. And I mean, he was like, he, he, he wouldn't say anything to anybody, or like he just had to get used to, he had to get used to his surroundings a little bit.
Mm.
And Sabu, the first time I worked him, like I said, he just beat the crap out of me. And it was my fault. Because even though I wrestled at Slammers, it wasn't like I was wrestling guys of Sabu's caliber.
Hmm.
It was my trainer, Carlos and Ed. But like it wasn't like we were working with anybody that was on TV per se.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the first time I wrestled Sabu was in like a tournament for the XPW Heavyweight Championship
Hmm.
because Chris Candido got it was stripped of the title. And that was because he no-showed. I think he no-showed is what happened. He just no-showed. And we did it in Bakersfield at Strongbow Stadium where Slammers used to wrestle. And dude, there was like 20 people there. Like
Mm.
no one even showed up, man. Like Public Enemy was there. I think Axel Rotten was there.
Wow.
It was just like no one showed up. And I wrestled Sabu. I do remember this with Axel Rotten. We were all getting ready for the show. And Axel's like asking Rob Black, like, so what are we doing for the show? And Axel's like, or Rob's like, we're doing a tournament. And Axel said, so who's in the finals? And Rob said, oh, it's Messiah. And he pointed to me against Sabu. And I remember Axel going, like, why him? Put me and Sabu in the finals. Like, he and I'll tear it up. And I remember Rob going, the fans love him, pointing to me.
Yeah.
I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a computer at the time. I lived in a freaking garage, dude.
Yeah.
Like a legitimate garage.
Wow.
And uh so it's not like I had the internet at my fingertips.
Yeah.
Come to find out, like XPW had a website and they had like these little holes and everything, and the fans liked me apparently. But I
Nice.
remember Axel just like, why him? Like, put me in.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, no, the fans love him. They love him. And also, Rob wanted to push his own homegrown talent.
Hmm.
That was me. That was Homeless Jimmy. That was Chaos and Supreme and Webb. So I had the match with Sabu, and it wasn't like Sabu and I. Like I've had matches where literally we've talked about everything. Like, okay, you do this, I punch here, you duck this, and
Yeah,
like
spot for spot. Yeah.
spot for spot. I can do that. I hate doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, you like old school.
Yeah, I like when I wrestled the first time I ever wrestled Justice Payne. That's what he and I did. It was spot for spot, and we did it, and it was a great match. It really was a great
How
match.
did Slammers teach you?
Basically, Slammers was the way I was taught was this. Um, you basically like you and who you're wrestling, you got like three spots each that like
Yep.
whatever you want to shine or whatever you want to call it.
Hmm.
And there, all in between there is when you do other things.
Yep.
And then when you find the point where it's like, oh, this would be a good point to do this, then it's like, hey, blah blah blah, do this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I was taught.
Yeah.
It was the indies. It wasn't until I got to CZW where it was like, okay, you duck this, I give you three punches,
Yeah.
then you duck this, I kick you, and it's just like, oh, we're really choreographing this. Okay, I
Hmm.
got you. Which there's nothing wrong with doing it
Yeah. Just
if
different
you
style.
make
Yeah.
if you make it believable. Um, with Sabu, it was very much like, all right, tell me three things you do. Oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. Okay. All right. Just listen to me, kid, and we'll get through it. Okay. And Sabu and I had the match. If you watch the match, Sabu, like I said, just beats the crap out of me. He gave me spots where I could get my stuff in. I just didn't take it.
Okay.
I didn't know any better. And he was legitimately like hitting me, probably because he was just frustrated with me. But he did tell Rob, the kid is good. He listens. So I am listening. I'm just not doing it the way he wants it. It wasn't until I had my second match with Sabu. Was it my second or third? I think it was my second match
Hmm.
at a show called New Year's Revolution in XPW.
Hmm.
Again, where I was having those aha moments and things were clicking. And he was giving me spots or he's giving me my moments, and I was actually taking advantage of it. And I had a much better match with him at that show.
Nice.
So, uh, and Sabu was also one of the most giving individuals you'll ever meet in the wrestling business. He was always someone who was looking out for the boys. Um, I, I mean, I can give you several examples of that. When I did CZW, we did a show in Italy.
Hmm. Wow.
And I think it was my second time in Italy. Sabu came on for the second show for my second tour in Italy.
Yeah.
And that promoter, because I think it was a different promoter from the first promoter when we did our first show in Italy.
Okay.
Second promoter, the day before we're supposed to go home, gonna knock at our hotel door, and it's Sanjay Dutt going, was it Sanjay Dutt? Or it might have been Nate Hatred, but it's like, hey, dude, Zandig's calling all of us. Come on, we got to come down to the meeting room. What's
Yeah.
going on? Promoter's trying to screw us out of our money. It's like, what? Go down there. Sure enough, promoter's like, I don't have money. And Jimmy Rave, the late great
Yeah.
Jimmy Rave was on that show. And Jimmy he didn't come to Italy with all of us. Like me and B-Boy, because we lived on the West Coast on California, we flew to Philly, and then from Philly, we went to Italy.
Yeah.
Jimmy was in Atlanta. Jimmy, like, I think he came with Sabu
Okay.
on a separate flight to Italy. So the promoter's like, I don't have money for you guys. That includes our hotels, apparently. Luckily, things got figured out. I distinctly remember Sanjay Dutt just going, because the promoter, again, there's a translator and they're talking and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember the promoter just standing there, a little short guy. He's
Hmm.
just standing there, but he's not even looking at us in the eye or anything like that. He's just looking at the floor. But there is no emotion. There is no like, I'm sorry on his face. There's none of that.
Yeah.
And Sanjay Dutt goes, he's like, he's not even sorry. Look at him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's not even sorry. And Zandig comes up and just slaps the shit out of his mouth. Right in the dude, paint brushes his face.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, dude, someone's going to jail. That's what I
Yeah.
thought. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Luckily, nothing happened after
Yeah.
that. We all get to go home, but I remember because Jimmy and Sabu were in a different hotel, I think, because of the whole thing going on with the payment and all that
Hmm.
stuff. Sabu went into his own pocket or was ready to go into his own pocket to make sure Jimmy got home and Jimmy's hotel was paid for
Wow.
because they were trying to put it on like on us
Hmm.
individually for the hotel.
Yeah.
Because I remember calling up Jimmy going, "Hey, dude, did you get home?" He goes, "Yeah, everything was fine. Sabu like was going to take care of me if they didn't." But luckily they did. And the same thing happened here in California um, for that promotion Epic. Uh, the promoter flew out a bunch of guys, Jimmy Rave, Ruckus from CZW,
Yeah.
Sabu, but then he never put money down on the actual building we were supposed to be running in. And he also never got these guys return flights. And Sabu or Josh Prohibition was here and Dog 20
Wow.
was here. And it was Sabu going into his own pocket to make sure these guys got home, I'm pretty
Mm.
sure.
Wow.
Sabu always was trying to take care of the boys. In
Nice.
fact, I mean, he even tried to he even tried to buy me steroids one time. I was like, no, I'm good. I said,
Yeah.
no, I'm good. But it was for another promotion out here in California, short-lived promotion, and I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately. But we were running the um, was it the sports arena as well? I think it was or the Forum, the LA Forum, where like the
Okay.
Lakers played and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And uh, I remember Sabu, Sabu would take a pill here or there,
Mm.
which he was honest about all that stuff
Yeah.
anyway. But he would get really chatty, and Sabu comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm good." And when he found out that I was from Michigan, I was born in Michigan. My family's from Michigan. That's where he's from. So he's like, "You're from Michigan?" I'm like, "Yeah." And this is when we were in XPW. And he's like, "What part?" I told him, "I'm like from the Lincoln Park, Allen Park area." He goes, "Okay." And one of my, again, I apologize for going on
No
tangents,
worries.
but one of the first things I remember as a kid when I'd visit my mom in Michigan, it was in Allen Park. They had a like a rec center there.
Okay.
And this is before I ever wanted to become a wrestler, or actually, I wanted to become a wrestler, but when I was still just like Hulk Hogan, like
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Um, they had wrestling at this rec center, but I didn't realize it at the time.
Okay.
But they had the marquee was Al Snow versus Sabu. And for some reason that's always stuck in my head. And I remember telling him that. He goes, "Really?" He's like, "Did you go to the show?" I was like, "No, I didn't know what I was looking at. I
Yeah.
didn't I didn't realize it was wrestling, but I remember the name like Al Snow, that's weird, and Sabu.
Hmm.
But Sabu was like, hey, you're really good, kid. You're really good. But Vince wants monsters. He wants big guys. I was like, yeah, I know. I know. He goes, if I get you some gas, will you promise me you'll use it? I was like, uh, sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know where like he's talking about.
Yeah.
Because he would get his steroids from the Mexican dudes.
Okay.
And so like I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
He like some one of the luchadors walks by and he's just like, "Hey, do you got any more gas?" And he's like, "No." And in the back of my mind, I was like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
Um, because yeah, the stuff that it worked, but it
Mm.
would make your back break out.
Okay.
Like it wasn't good. But I remember him just being like, "I'll buy it, but you got to promise me you'll use it." And I was like, yeah, okay." But he was offering to do that because he
Nice.
like
Yeah.
believed in me. And I just always thought that was cool. He was always very much about taking care of the boys and making sure the boys were taken care of.
Nice. To talk about your career, you want it to be like Bret Hart, but how
Yeah,
fast or how early in did you adapt to the deathmatch style? Because that's completely different. But how close did
absolutely.
it take you? That was something that you wanted to do.
Well, how can I put this? It was ECW was a huge influence on me.
Yeah.
Um,
Who was your
and
guy in ECW?
ECW, it was due to it was like Shane Douglas and Rob Van Dam.
Nice.
Um, ECW used to come on like at 1 in the morning here in California. where I was.
Yeah.
And I used to watch it. And uh, I thought, yeah, I thought it was great. And when they had their first pay-per-view is right when I was training at Slammers. And Ed Ferreira had just come back to Slammers. And Ed and Carlos were like the cool kids.
Okay.
You know, they're like they were the cool kids
Yeah.
in the group. And after like training one day, it was a Sunday. It was like I guess Ed was going to get the ECW pay-per-view, and Carlos was going to go watch it. And Carlos and Ed used to just, they used to rib me all the time because I was the young guy. And I remember Carlos going, "Hey Ed, should we invite Billy to the ECW pay-per-view?" And I don't know. It's like, yeah, let's bring him. And so
Yeah.
I got to go, but like I got to go with those guys. Like Webb didn't go, Homeless Jimmy didn't go. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to go with the cool kids, essentially,
Nice. Yeah.
what it was. Watching it, and the main event had it was Stevie Richards, Terry Funk, Raven, but they had like the barbed wire with the ladder and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember Carlos and I just going, it'd be cool to say I did a death match once. Like in our mind, that was like a death match.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't even death match. It was like do hardcore.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm labeled as a death match guy. I don't consider myself a death match guy.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in any disrespect to anybody who does death matches.
Yeah.
But like if you want to say I was hardcore and extreme, like absolutely. I will wear that with the badge of honor because I absolutely was. I did that stuff. I think it's a disservice to the people or to the girls and guys who do deathmatch wrestling now. Because I didn't do the stuff they do now, man. They're again, I love all of you, but you're nuts.
Yeah.
You're absolutely nuts. And I've only done like a handful of what I would consider death matches. I've done a lot of hardcore and a lot of like extreme. Like if you ask Sabu would never say I'm a deathmatch guy.
Yeah.
He absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah.
But he's done light tubes, he's done thumbtacks, he's done all that. Now, if you told me he was extreme or hardcore, yeah. And that's the way I've always looked at it. But watching that ECW pay-per-view, Carlos and I were like, it'd be cool to say I did like a match like that one time. Fast forward to XPW, they're doing the first King of the Death match. They had a big because every Tuesday in XPW we would have training, and then after training we would have a company meeting. And going to Rob's office, big whiteboard, and it's like the first annual XPW deathmatch tournament. And it was essentially, hey, if you want to be in it, just put your name up there. That's all it was.
Wow.
No one was forced to be part of it.
Yeah.
No one was told they have to be part of it. It was all voluntarily. I was like, okay, cool. And keep in mind, I had just started with the company too. The deathmatch tournament that they did was probably my second or third match as Messiah in XPW. Sorry. So again, I just wanted to wrestle. That's all I wanted to do. And I don't remember where I saw it or who got it. Maybe there was a guy in XPW named Josh Lazy. Oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
Watch. There was Josh Lazy.
Okay.
Lazy, he went by the name Lazy. Lazy was the bassist in a band called Danzig. Lazy is a great guy. Lazy, from what I understand, Lazy's the one who's like, hey, we should do like a deathmatch tournament. And I think Lazy had footage of that first IWA King of the Death match with like Mick Foley or Cactus Jack.
Oh,
and, yeah. I remember watching that, like with Supreme and Chaos. I think we watched it. But we did the first our first annual deathmatch tournament.
Yeah.
And I was first round was me versus White Chef Johnny Webb. I think it was just thumbtacks. That's all it was. And then the second round I wrestled, or I went over Webb, Second round was versus Supreme. And in that match, we had we had like the board of thumbtacks and spike strips, I guess.
Hmm.
And I did really good. I just went balls to the wall. I was like, I did my best in it.
Yeah.
And I remember Shane Douglas was at that show. And uh I talked to Shane Douglas after because Rob was like, hey, and Rob was absolutely correct in saying this. Take advantage of Shane being here or Chris Candido being here. Ask them questions.
Hmm.
Like these guys know things. Ask them. And if anytime someone asks me like, hey, can you give me some advice? It's always just ask questions. Like the guys who are better than you, just ask them questions, man, who have more experience.
Yeah.
Because the only way you get better is learning and wrestling guys who are better than you. And I remember Shane just telling me that he's like, I've never seen anybody sell their own move other than you and Sabu. Because I would do like a springboard leg drop,
Yeah.
and it would legitimately hurt me
Wow.
because I'm landing on my tailbone
Yeah.
because I'm a skinny kid. And he's like, in his mind, he's like, oh, he's selling it like it hurts him. No,
Hmm.
it really hurt me. That's why I was doing it.
Yeah.
Um, I just remember Shane going, you sell like Sabu does. I was like, well, now I know it really hurts Sabu when he does it.
Yeah.
And we did that first deathmatch tournament. I lost to Supreme in the second round, but I got really good color. Like I got really good color.
Yeah.
And because I did so good in that and did well, because again, like I said, I think it was my third time being Messiah or doing the Messiah
Yeah.
gimmick. I made an impression with the crowd because the next show we had, when my music hit, I distinctly remember this. I got like a nice little pop
Nice.
because they remember me from the deathmatch tournament and basically putting my body on the line.
Hmm.
Um, and for whatever reason, from that point on, like Rob put Supreme and I in like a feud. And Supreme was a deathmatch. Supreme loved death matches. I mean, I wish he was still here with us.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved deathmatch wrestling. He did. Um, and wrestling him was being around him and was some of the funnest times I've ever had in the wrestling business.
Nice.
But Rob put he and myself in a feud, and it was death matches because that's what Supreme did.
Yeah.
And I got known as a deathmatch hardcore guy.
Yeah.
Again, it wasn't like I was aspiring to do that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I wanted to be like Bret Hart. Um, it just kind of stuck, and I never stopped it or never was like, that's not me. Like I said, I have no problem when someone says I'm a hardcore, I did extreme. Absolutely,
Yeah.
I do. Again, not even saying take the exception of being a different because it's not taking. I just think the guys who do that now because there are guys who do it like every week. They
Yeah.
do deathmatch stuff every week, man.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it takes away from what they're doing.
Okay.
I think it's a disservice to them if you say that I did death matches because I only did them once in a while.
Hmm.
I did a hell of a lot of hardcore, a
Yeah.
lot of extreme stuff. But to say, and I probably hurt myself because um, GCW has like their Deathmatch Hall of Fame. Brett, dude, years ago when they first started implementing it, like when Wife Beater was put into it, when Nick Mondo was put into it, he called me asking if I would be admitted into it, which I was very honored. But at
Hmm.
the time, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't fly out to Atlantic City to do it at the time. I
Yeah.
just didn't have the time to do it. And I think because I've done interviews like I am with you, saying I don't consider myself a deathmatch wrestler, that Brett has gone, yeah, Billy doesn't want to be in it, or he doesn't
Wow.
want it. Um, and that's not the case at all. Again, I just think I don't want to disrespect the girls and guys who are doing it now,
Hmm.
because those guys, the stuff they do now is off, dude, off the hook.
Yeah.
And I'll be quite frank and quite honest. Like, I don't know if I would do a lot of the stuff that they do, but Dude, if you had asked me when I first started wrestling if I was going to be jumping into thumbtacks and like, I would have told you hell no.
Yeah.
But then there I am doing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, I
So
mean, whatever.
before I get to CZW, there was one thing originally you talked about. One of your goals was to be in a video game. So I know at the time, I don't
Yeah.
think mocap or anything was a thing, but do you have any stories or memory for backyard wrestling too? There goes the neighborhood.
um, yeah, it was cool. No, no,
Yeah.
actually, no one's ever asked me about that.
Wow.
That was that was a great experience.
Nice.
Um, uh, simply because of the fact that it was something I got on my own.
Yeah.
Um, it wasn't um it wasn't something like because I was part of XPW I got, or
Mhm.
even because I was part of CZW I got. Because I think at the time I had left CZW. No, was I in CZW? No, yeah, I was in CZW. But ironically, the way I got that was because where I was working at the time, I was working my coworker, um, a guy named Brett, or sorry, not Brett, Brent. He was friends with Lars. Lars and Rancid, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I met him in XPW.
Yeah.
And I remember Lars coming up to me going, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" I went, "With me?" He
Legend. You're a
goes,
legend.
"Yeah." I was like, "But you're like, dude, you're Lars. You're in Rancid." He's like, "Yeah." Dude, he took a picture with me. It's one of the coolest memories I've ever had.
Wow.
But Brent was friends with Lars. And if I remember right, um, Lars was friends with uh dude, I can't remember his name either. God damn, I'm so apologetic right now. But uh who the producer of the video game.
Okay.
God damn it, dude, this is horrible.
It's been so
But
long. I don't, yeah.
yeah, but he I think Brent was hanging out with Lars at one of the WrestleManias. I don't remember what WrestleMania it
Okay.
was, but Brent just happened to be on Lars. They were all in the same plane with the producer of Backyard Wrestling.
Okay.
And Brent was like, "Hey, you know who I work with? I work with Messiah." And he's like, "What?"
Wow.
He's like, "Yeah." And I guess Brent told him about me, and he knew who I was. And dude, I am so apologetic to God. We're friends on Facebook. I see him all the time on my Facebook page. God damn it. Um, but he one day I was at work. Brent got on the phone with the producer, was like, "Hey, here's Billy." And we got on the phone and we're talking to each other. And he's like, "You want to be in backyard wrestling too?" I was like, "Yeah, that
Wow.
would be amazing."
Yeah.
And it would, dude, it was easy and as simple as that.
Wow.
And then they had like a big event in San Francisco for like the launch party for Backyard Wrestling 2. And so like New Jack, I was out there, New Jack was out there, Supreme was out there. And it was great seeing Supreme because when I left XPW, I I didn't get to see like Supreme and Chaos and I didn't get to see those guys a lot.
Hmm.
And when I was in XPW with those guys, like we were family, like to
Yeah.
the point where like Rob called us the clique because we were always together with one another. But
Hmm.
once I got fired, um, I didn't see those guys all that often. And so seeing like Supreme was awesome. And like Ruckus was there, Sanjay was there. And we just did this big launch party. We put on wrestling matches. I wrestled Vic Grimes.
Nice.
And it was a great experience. And
Nice.
yeah, there was no motion cap or anything like that.
Yeah. So what they
They
do? Like
had
ask you your, well, they knew your moves, I assume, or how'd that work?
actually, if I remember right, because I actually had to go to some place here because in I want to say like in Simi Valley. I
Hmm.
think it was no, it wasn't Simi Valley, was it? Yeah, but they the game developer had like a had an office out here near me. I
Yeah.
went over there and they took like photos of me,
Okay.
like my face and my gear, and the gear I had at the time was not good at all.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Because one of the struggles I had during my wrestling career was trying to defy what I look like. That's why, like in XPW, I was wearing the black shirt, black pants. I went to CZW with black shirt, black pants, and I went to the tights.
Yeah.
And it was like I I was always trying to evolve or trying to look different, and it probably in some cases like hurt me a little bit. because I've seen like these tribute videos or whatever that someone has taken the time to make for me or for me, and I'm always very touched by it. But like, it's like you don't know who I am because it's like, are you that? I thought you were in the black pants. Oh no! By this point in my career, I was no longer in the black pants. I'm in the
Yeah.
top. Like it's friggin' horrible.
Yeah.
Um, but I went to they the production company took uh like pictures of my face, pictures of my gear, and then during the a launch party or the launch that they had, they did the voiceover work for us.
Oh wow.
So like when like you're punching me or Mondo, or it's us going, oh, oh,
Yeah.
and there are stupid sayings, like I remember Mondo was like, look out below. Like if you jump off like a high, like the roof of something,
Yeah.
um, I remember like mine, dude, I was so unoriginal. One of my sayings was "fuck you," like so
Yeah.
stupid. Um, but it was a great experience.
And you
That,
talk about originally you wanted to be in a video game.
dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, and not be like, hey, someone made me for,
Yeah.
create a wrestler. Like, no, I was actually in this game as a playable character. Um, I remember during the launch party or the launch event, they had like a demo, but in the demo, they had me like in my tights were shorts, and I was wearing a hoodie with my because I would wear a t-shirt. I
Hmm.
had this t-shirt that said like it just said Messiah, and in the back it said "Don't envy a violent man."
Okay.
And they took that t-shirt and made a hoodie. So I was basically in shorts and a hoodie
Wow.
in the video game, and I'm like, that's not what I wrestle in. And I remember, and the producer or the guy who was doing it was like, "Well, dude, you just look like a generic." I was like, "You're absolutely right, but I don't look like that. You don't
Yeah.
even see me."
Yeah.
And they changed it to my tights and everything. Being older and a little bit wiser, I'm like, I understand why now. It's like, dude, who the Messiah, like Messiah's wearing tights, like, dude, yeah, guy named
Yeah.
Messiah, like, it just makes no sense.
Wow.
But it was absolutely cool. I loved it. It was
Yeah.
it was a great experience. And like I said, they took us out to San Francisco. We did put on this big event, and it was pretty cool.
Nice. I'm curious, how was your original introduction to CZW?
I had gotten fired from XPW,
Hmm.
and rightfully so. I should have gotten fired from
Yeah.
XPW. Um, I want to say, was it maybe 5 or 6 months? Well,
Okay.
because I had my first, yeah, actually, no, yeah, because I had gotten fired from XPW sometime in the summertime, and then I had my first match with XPW in January. So yeah, it was like I want to say 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah.
I was just at home one day, and my phone rang, and I was screening my calls. I was, how can I put this? Dude, I'm a hermit. Like, dude, I don't like. Look how long it took me to get for you to get me to do
Yeah.
this.
It's worth it though.
Um, I'm uh yeah, dude, I'm just a hermit. I like to
Mhm.
keep to myself. It's not good at
Yeah.
all. Um, but I was screening my calls, and on my voice message or my answer machine, I hear uh basically like this deep voice go, this message is for Messiah, Billy, John Zandig, CZW. And I was like, what the fuck? Like I answered, I thought it was a guy named Jake Lawless ribbing me. Jake
Okay.
Lawless wrestled in XPW, and he's from Philly.
Okay.
And it sounded like Jake a little bit. I thought
Yeah.
Jake was just messing with me.
Imagine getting a voicemail from Zandig.
Yeah, it was just, and so I answered it,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Hello." He goes, "This is Billy." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "You still wrestling for that porno company?" I was like, "No, no, I'm not."
Yeah.
And basically, he just went, "Well, I have a show coming up this weekend. I want you to wrestle my champion, Justice Payne.
Open
Would you
challenge,
be?"
right?
Yeah, open challenge. And he's like, "Would you be interested?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." But I have a booking already this weekend. He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "Let me give you a call back and let me see if I can get out of the booking." And Zanny's like, "Yeah, just give me a call back." I was originally booked for a promotion called MPW out here in California, excuse me, Millennium Pro Wrestling. And I want to say, was I? Shit, dude, I think. I might have been their champion at the time.
Okay.
Um, and the owner was a guy named Logan Xavier. And he was absolutely nice and gracious and just went, dude, of course. Like he got me out of the booking. He goes, going to CZW is a huge opportunity for you. And called Zendig back. I want to say that was like Thursday, and then Friday I was on a plane going out to Philadelphia for the first time to wrestle.
Wow. So I'm curious. There's one story I want to ask you, but first I'm curious. How does the idea come for the high five?
Oh, the high five. All right, how do I answer this one? Okay, so the high five basically came about out of necessity.
Okay.
How do I put this? So in CZW, when I started it, I basically became like a baby face. I mean, I was a baby face.
Mm-hmm.
The fans loved me. They absolutely did. And it used to take me a long time to say that because I was always kind of embarrassed. I didn't want to brag or anything like that. But
Yeah.
the fact of the matter is, dude, I was super over in CZW when I first got there. I absolutely was. The Philly fans just took me in, and I'll be eternally grateful for that. Like for whatever reason, they liked me. And again, I started in January. The Cage of Death is in December.
Yeah.
So I had that basically like a good 11 months
Mm-hmm.
run there. And I wrestled Justice Payne in the main event of Cage of Death. I want to say it was Cage of Death 5.
Yeah.
Beat him for the heavyweight title. Justice Payne then goes, sorry, well,
I think it was 4 because the match you're in is
sorry,
Cage of Death
you're
5.
absolutely
Yeah.
right. You're
Yeah.
right. You're absolutely right. 4.
Yeah.
That was Cage of Death 4. We had another show in January because at the time XPW was going to take over the lease for the arena, the ECW arena.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one more show. CZW as a company, we had one more show in the ECW arena where I wrestled Justice Payne and Nick Gage in a three-way dance. I was the champion going in, and I pinned Payne again.
Okay.
Payne then goes to XPW. Payne was our biggest heel at the time. XPW takes over the lease for the arena.
Mm-hmm.
We then go to a new building that is basically attached to a strip club.
Okay.
Which none of us were like mad about, by the way. We were like,
Yeah.
oh, there was like peepholes. We could see stuff. It was cool.
Yeah.
But we didn't have like a main single wrestler heel. We didn't have like a big heel. And Zandig was already going to turn the Backseat Boys because at the time Dewey Donovan
Mm-hmm.
was the manager for the Hate Club, which was at the time Nate Hatred and Nick Gage.
Yep.
He wanted to turn Dewey and have Dewey turn on the Hate Club and go with the Backseat Boys.
Okay.
During that show, John just telling me, he's just like, dude, we don't have like a main, we don't have a heel. We don't have like a main single wrestler heel anymore because Payne left. And I just went, dude, if you want me to go heel, just let me know.
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
If you want me to go heel, let me know. It's like, okay. And then I want to say it was like a couple matches before my match. I'm walking around. He just pats me on the shoulder and he goes, go heel. I went, you sure? He's like, yeah, go heel. I'm going to put the back seats with you. I was like, oh, okay. And by this point, I'm already great friends with Johnny and Trent.
Yeah.
Like I hang out with them all the time.
Nice.
When we're not doing the shows and stuff. When I fly into Philly, I was always coming like a day early so I could hang out with them and Nick or Adam Flash and Ian Knox. Like,
yeah.
Dude, like I was always hanging out with these guys. These guys became my family.
Nice.
And so I was like, okay, I'll go heel. So if you watch, and I was wrestling Nick Mondo on that show.
Yeah.
I walk out. I don't walk out as a babyface. I walk out as a heel. I kind of wish I changed it a little bit. but I already went out there like as a heel. Like, so like when fans were patting me on the back, I'm just like, don't touch me. And you could see the look in their face, like, what the hell? Like, because I was the baby face, the guy that they liked.
Yeah.
And then in the middle of the match, um, or, what happens dude, it's been so long. I haven't seen the match and but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure um uh Dewey comes out and screws over Nick Mondo, and then the back seats come out, and then here come the Hate Club, because the
Okay.
Hate Club were just screwed over by Dewey, and
Yeah.
like, and then all of a sudden it's me and the back seats.
Okay.
We're together. B-Boy, I believed the next show debuted on that show. He had done like one-offs for CZW at
Hmm.
that point, but I was able to get him because I knew B-Boy really well because
Yeah.
he and I are California guys.
Yeah.
I was able to talk Zandig into bringing in B-Boy on a permanent basis. And then Zandig's like, I'm just gonna put B-Boy with you guys because you're from California, he's from California. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, cool. We still didn't have a name for our group.
Yeah.
Apparently, the Backseat Boys and Ian Knox did a wrestling show in Amsterdam. In Amsterdam, that's where they came up with the name High Five.
Wow. Okay.
And it's because they were just smoking weed and doing
Yeah.
what you do in Amsterdam, I guess.
Yeah.
But the idea being, it's not high five with a number five, it's high five with a Roman numeral five.
Okay.
It spells HIV.
Okay.
So the fans can chant HIV at us. And we can go, no, we don't have the HIV. No, like that's what it was. It's childish, it's dumb, but it worked.
Yeah.
And that's how we got the high five.
Wow.
Was again, they were smoking weed in Amsterdam, and
Yeah.
they just came up with it. Because I remember we picked them up from the airport. Me and Ian, what was it? Me and Adam Flash picked them up from the airport, coming back from Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And I remember Trent and Johnny were like, "Dude, we got the best name for our group. Oh, what is it? The High Five, but it's not a five; it's a Roman numeral V." I was like, I like it, dude. Yeah, well, let's do it. We told
Yeah.
Zandig. Zandig liked it, and we were the High Five.
And I gotta ask, you talk about it's leading up to it. Do you have any stories or memories? I was watching something the other day, and it was still ranked. Cage of Death 5. When you hear that, what stands out to you?
What stands out to me about that match is one, it is a miracle none of us got hurt.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe to this day, the reason none of us got hurt is because all of us were genuinely friends.
Nice.
We all hung out with each other. Except for like New Jack didn't hang out with us.
Yeah.
And Zandig didn't like necessarily hang out with us.
Yeah.
But we all hung out with one another. We were all great friends. And we were all looking out for each other. My only gripe with Cage of Death 5 is my my only issue with Cage of Death 5 is that we went through war, all of us. We went through war, right?
Yeah.
Ian Knox does that huge bump,
Yeah.
right? Adam Flash and Wife Beater do the one side slam into the
Yeah.
tax, like all that. At the end of the show, we all should look like we went through war. But Zanig's team wins, and all the guys come from the back and they're all like, yay. And it's like, no, dude, Ian, you just got knocked over this thing. You shouldn't even be out here.
Yeah.
That was my only gripe.
Okay.
We legitimately went through war. None of us should be up walking around high-fiving each other that we won.
Yeah.
It should be like legitimately, it should only be Zandig in that ring, maybe, because he's the only one that survived. Or if you do come out, it's like you're on crutches or something because you just took a huge bump. That was my only gripe with it.
Yeah.
Other than that, I love the show. I don't keep up with CZW, not because I don't like it. It just, I'm older now and I'm not part of the company. And so I know they've continued Cage of Death and they've continued doing crazy great stuff for the main events of Cage of Death. But I think Cage of Death 5 is one of the best, if not the best Cage of Death ever. Just because of the storyline that we had going into it, and all because of all the guys, the individuals that were involved in it as well. It was just a great match. It was a great show. And we had that whole entire arena, like dude, it was standing room only in that place.
Hmm.
And we had a great time doing it. And dude, I distinctly remember talking to Zanding months before and just going, dude, it'd be cool if we did like a war games. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, dude, a war games. I got the high five, or whatever. Like, we need to
Yeah.
do like a war games. I wasn't thinking like the cage of death or anything like that. Just a war games. And Zandig is the one who came up with this whole uh uh two rings. You got the scout walking across it with a million thumbtacks. That's all Zandig, man.
Wow.
He
Yeah.
came up with that. And it's funny, you can tell who's afraid of heights and who isn't. Because like Nate Hatred, dude, he walks across that thing so goddamn quick.
Yeah.
Because dude, I remember he when he got there, he goes, "What the hell is this?" You go, "I'm not walking that." He was
Wow.
scared of heights.
Yeah.
Dude, I am scared of heights.
Wow.
Dude, I am absolutely scared of heights.
Yeah.
So like when they lifted me up and Nikki and Nate had me, dude, I I was this close to just shitting myself. Like
Yeah.
dude, um it's one of the proudest matches I've ever had. Um Simply for the fact I did it with my friends.
Nice.
We did, like I said, we all hung out with each other. Um, uh, our main in CZW, there was a place called the Berwyn Tavern.
Okay.
It was in Berwyn, PA. Ian Knox worked there. Ian Knox, when I first got to CZW, quickly became one of my best friends in the world.
Hmm.
Um, Johnny Kashmir got a job working at the Berwyn Tavern. I got a job working at the Berwyn Tavern when I moved to Philly. Um, Friday nights before CZW shows, guaranteed you would have see like all of the CZW roster at the Berwyn Tavern.
Wow.
That's where it got to the point where they had pictures of like all of us on the wall.
Nice. Yeah.
Dude, it was great. It was a great time of my life being around those guys and hanging out with those guys and learning from those guys. Like, and we all like I would come in like a day or two early just to hang out with everybody. It was
Nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. When you look at your career, originally said you wanted to be a pro wrestler. You talk about Hogan and Brett, but to see everything you've done, whether it's CZW Hall of Famer, three-time world champ, for you, when you look at your career, are you happy with it? Because you've done so much.
Um, it's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
Um, am I happy with it? I guess.
Yeah.
I'm happy with it. Do I think I could have done more? Hell yeah. Would
Mhm.
I have likened to have gone to like WWE? Absolutely. Do I think I was ever on the radar? Nope. I don't think I was ever on the radar.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I think I could have accomplished more and done more. Am I happy with what I did? Yeah, because keep in mind, like I said, I just my initial goal,
Yeah.
I just wanted to wrestle, man. That's
Yeah.
all I wanted to do. Um, that's all. It's just I just wanted to wrestle, and I got to do that. And I got to wrestle against guys like Sabu and Candido and New Jack and Vampiro and learn from these guys, man. And when I went to CZW, like at the time, again, this is before like really everybody had their internet. No one had smartphones, none of this.
Yeah.
So there really was like a West Coast style of wrestling and an East Coast style of wrestling.
Okay.
There really was.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people realize that.
Okay.
And when I went to CZW, my initial first time when I went to CZW, uh, a guy named Z-Bar picked me up from the airport.
Yeah.
I remember Z-Bar looked at me and goes, "Thought you'd be taller." I was like, "Oh, dude, shut up!" Like,
Yeah.
like, and Z-Bar, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But Z-Bar was a great guy.
Hmm.
But Z-Bar took me to Zandig's, and Zandig then took me to Nick Gage's house, and I stayed the night at Nick Gage's and Justice Payne's house. At the time, Justice Payne wasn't there. It was like his girlfriend's birthday, so he wasn't at the house.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Nikki, and I was like, "Hey, do you have any videotape on Justice Payne?" He goes, "Yeah." And he got me 3 VHS copies because again, like I said, I lived in a garage when I was in XPW,
Yeah.
and I didn't have like a computer to go on and look and see stuff and read who's saying what about me, or I just or look up what indies are around. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. Now I knew of CZW because I saw it in the After magazines.
Yeah.
And all I knew was that there was a weed whacker. That's all I knew, dude.
Hmm.
I didn't know who Justice Payne was. I didn't know who Nick Gage was. I knew who Zandig was because of the magazine stuff. So Nikki got me a couple tapes. One of the tapes was Cage of Death 3 that had just happened the month before.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was watch Payne's match. That's the only thing I wanted to do. I ended up starting it, and they had like this great video opening with a music video, and I was hooked, and I watched the whole entire show.
Nice.
And I remember watching the whole entire show. Once I was done, I went, "What the hell do they want with me?"
Wow.
Because, like, dude, Amazing Red was on the show, Quiet Storm, um, so many, Adam Flash, the Rachis, like, all, dude, it was a stacked,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. It was an amazing show. And I distinctly looking like going like, oh, dude, they do like they got their own style over here,
Hmm.
and they really did. And so I had to adapt to that, which I was fully willing to do and loved doing it. But um, I when I went to I didn't really get my confidence until I went to CZW. But at the same time, CZW is when I really dealt with locker room politics.
Yeah.
In XPW, like I said, it was me, Supreme, Chaos. The ECW guys came in, and they would like, specifically Axel Rotten. Axel, he kind of carried himself like I'm better than everybody because I'm an ECW guy. And like, the ECW guys had their own locker room kind of thing, like the LA Sports Arena when we did shows. Uh, but dude, I was extremely naive and wasn't aware of politics.
Yeah.
Wasn't until I got to CZW that I had to deal with politics.
Yeah.
And once I started dealing with politics, it kind of took the joy out of it a little bit.
Hmm.
Because again, I was just a dude, I'll show up. What do you want me to do? Okay, I'll do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
Um, Again, I know I'm taking the long way around your question,
Don't
but
worry. Yeah.
I think I could, I mean, I think I could have done a lot more,
Yeah.
but also, dude, I had so many injuries that never healed and still haven't healed.
Hmm.
And uh, there gets to a point where I was getting calls where guys wanted me, like they're trying to bring me in, and I would have to politely decline. And there just comes a point when people stop calling, and I was okay with that because I grew to hate traveling. I absolutely hated it.
Yeah.
And also I absolutely hated dealing with promoters haggling over $25. Like, dude,
Hmm.
are you kidding me? Like, dude, just okay. And I understand what they're like. If it's only $25 to you, then it's only $25 to me. So why don't you just eat it and not? It's like,
Yeah.
dude, no, I'm not. It just, I didn't have to deal with that. And I didn't really deal with that kind of stuff until I got to Texas because I moved to Texas
Okay.
for a brief of time. But like, again, I think I could have done more. Am I happy with it? Yeah. But I
Hmm.
think I could have accomplished more. Um, But if that meant I would have been taken away from my family because I have a wife, I have two daughters, then absolutely not. Like, dude, like I wouldn't trade any of that to, be in a car for 5 hours or in a plane for 5 hours to wrestle in front of like five people. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
it's, I'm not big on woulda, coulda, or woulda, shoulda, or if I had done this differently. So,
Hmm.
but do I think I could have done more? Probably, but it is what it is.
I'm curious going into the new year. I know you say never, but is Messiah's wrestling career completely done? Is that I know wrestling retirements don't really exist.
Um, Probably, yeah. Dude,
Okay.
I just turned 48.
Okay.
Um, one of the reasons I stopped wrestling, and again, I never meant to stop. I never meant to.
Yeah.
Uh, but I blew out my back, and it's never healed properly. It just never has.
Hmm.
Um, and once I started wrestling, once I had the back injury, I would wrestle, and all I could think about while I was wrestling was my back. So it's like, all right, don't do this and and fall on your butt.
Yeah.
It's like because I used to do the springboard leg drops, and that's where my back injury came from. I know
Yeah.
that exactly where it came from. It's all the springboard leg drops. Um, uh, Again, I never say never, um, but at the same time, dude, I have too much love and respect for pro wrestling
Hmm.
that I'm like, yeah, I'll go wrestle. And I don't want to stink out the joint. Dude, that's all it is. Like
Yeah.
I remember Joey Janela was trying to get me to do wrestling stuff years ago with
Yeah.
him. I would have loved to have done it, but I don't want to stink out the joint. Same with
I,
Marcus Crane.
yeah.
Marcus Crane, God rest his soul. He would always leave like little stuff on my Facebook page going, "Hey Billy, GCW is going to be in LA." Like, because he was wrestling for GCW.
Yeah.
Um, I just didn't want to stink out the joint and do a disservice to them or the company. Uh, as much as I want to say never, honestly, probably I'll probably never wrestle again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
unfortunately, unless I get my shit together
Yeah.
and start like, doing proper workouts for my back or something,
Mhm.
which, dude, I haven't done that in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to start now, probably. So,
Yeah.
but you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I know it was a long time in the making, but I'm curious. I've ended every interview the same now. The day you decide it's all done in wrestling, what do you want the Messiah or Mike Earnhardt? What do you want your legacy in pro wrestling to be?
Um, I honestly don't know how to answer that question. I know, dude, I'll be blunt with this. I know depending on who you're asking and what kind of type of fan you're asking, I'm known as the guy who got his thumb cut off. I mean, that's just putting it bluntly.
Yeah.
Um, do I want to be known as that? No. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to my wrestling career than just what occurred in that.
Yeah.
Um, Ultimately, I think I just want to be known specifically more, I mean, by the fans, just if they had any interactions with me, that I was just a nice, genuine guy.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't I didn't have an attitude or think I was better than you or that I was like some superstar, because I definitely don't.
Yeah.
Um and most importantly, by the other workers, the boys, the girls in the locker room, that I was just, if you saw that you were wrestling against me on the sheet, that oh crap, I'm gonna have a good time.
Nice.
And that he was easy to work with, and I dude, if you saw me wrestle, I wasn't lacking, I wasn't slacking, I wasn't uh trying to do a bad job. And then, more importantly, like I said, that I was just a good guy.
Yeah.
Um, which I'd like to think I've accomplished that.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I especially with the Dark Side of the Ring episode coming out and the way they depicted everything.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just known as the guy who uh did something I shouldn't have done, and uh, got my thumb cut off because of it. But the God's honest truth and the real truth is that's not the reason I got attacked. It wasn't because of my relationship with Lizzie. I got attacked because um, Rob was getting pissed off with me because I was poking the bear.
Yeah.
Um, I was uh, I was continuing to wrestle because when I left, or when I was fired from XPW, in Rob's mind, I was you were never going to hear about me ever again, or he wasn't going to ever hear about me ever again,
Mm.
because I had the XPW machine behind me. Because even when I started with XPW, it wasn't like I was known in the Southern California wrestling indie scene. No one knew who I was.
Yeah.
You had guys like Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, um, that were busting their ass, or Samoa Joe. Like, all these guys were busting their butt on the California indie scene. XPW starts, and then all of a sudden I'm in there and I'm wrestling Sabu and Candido. And it's like, where did this kid come from? Because I wasn't known. No one knew who I was.
Yeah.
So when I got fired from XPW, pretty sure the idea was that you weren't going to hear about me ever again. And then I get the call to go to CZW, and I did really well for myself in CZW. And for whatever reason, the Philly fans loved me, and they really took a liking to me. And
Mhm.
I'll be eternally grateful for that.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they really got supportive and supported me. Um, uh, And I know that bugged the crap out of Rob because I knew people that were working at the XPW offices that were telling me Rob was getting pissed. And it didn't help the fact that I have a big mouth. And anytime Rob would threaten me, I would then in turn, I in turn would just push back. And I made the blunder of saying the thing I said with the "she loves it" thing. And, I had no intentions of saying that.
Yeah.
I just said it, on a whim, because the fans started chanting at "you F to Lizzie," and I didn't mean to say it. It just me and my temper.
Yeah.
It just I blurted out like an idiot. And through the grapevine, I would be told Rob is threatening you, and I had this "I'll be damned" mentality, which was, you're not going to threaten me. You're not going to try to run me out of California. You're not going to bully me. I'm going to show you I'm not scared of you. And that's why I got attacked. Had nothing to do with Lizzie. Lizzie played a very, very small part. Because if that was the case, I would have got attacked the freaking day after.
Yeah.
When Rob found out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I went out of my way to show Rob I wasn't scared of him. And to be clear, I am still not scared of Rob. But I shouldn't have been so boisterous in the way I was. I was 23-year-old friggin' kid, angry at the world, angry at Rob, angry at everybody. And I wasn't about to let anybody try to push me around. And that's not the right way. That's not the right mentality to have at all. But that's why I got attacked.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with Lizzie.
Yeah.
Had to do with Rob showing me that, dude, I can get to you. I can shut you up real quick. Which again, he didn't.
Yeah.
But that's my biggest blunder is that.
Okay.
My biggest blunder is that.
Well, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I told you originally, like a year in the making. I've been telling you thank you. I texted Johnny Cashmere. No matter what, man, you're a legend. I just commentated a show on Monday, and one of the guys came up to me, and one of the wrestlers asked who I was interviewing. I said I was interviewing Messiah, and he was telling me like numerous times CZW champ and everything. So like even down here, man, you're loved. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I get asked to do a lot of interviews a lot of times, and I don't get. Like I said, dude, I'm a hermit, bro. Like it's to the point, like my wife and daughters don't want to, they hate it. They absolutely hate it. I appreciate you being so patient with me.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to do this again, just let me know.
100%.
But thank you, man. I really, really do mean it. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time and the kind words.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this. And thank everybody for watching this episode. This was Best for Business.
Thank you for watching this episode of Best for Business. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, because this is Best for Business.